Hey YouTube, this is Gracie and welcome back to Card-tober, a series in which I show you how to make Disneybounding Halloween cards every day in the month of October. Yesterday's card was Mother Gothel from Tangled, and I have a few others before that because this whole week has been the week of villains, and tomorrow is the last day of the week of villains. So on Sunday we'll start a new theme, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to be pleasantly surprised. So I hope you guys subscribe for all of the future exciting cards headed your way. Today's card is Disneybounding as Lady Tremaine from Cinderella, one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. Cinderella is my favorite Disney princess, and so I decided to do Lady Tremaine for my week of villains. So I mainly did her colors that she wears, so red, a little bit of purple in there, and then I did this silver or gray design or frame here because I thought that would be a good reference to her hair. It's such a big part of her as a character, and so I wanted to represent that. I've also put in the cat die cut here to represent Lucifer, her evil cat. And then I did these two little brads in the bottom right hand corner to represent her daughters. And then I also did some little stamps of like locks or keyholes on a door to, represent how she locks away Cinderella and keeps her away from the prince and the world. On the inside, I did the, broken glass design here, and that's from an embossing folder because she wants to destroy the glass slippers and actually ends up doing so. The sentiment I wrote was "beautiful" because she is not beautiful. She is beautiful on the outside, but she's ugly on the inside because her personality is terrible. So that's why I decided to do that sentiment. And I did emboss that in black embossing powder. On the back side, I did my G stamp, and then I also put another die cut of the cat. And I thought that turned out quite well. I kind of liked that. The only thing was it didn't stamp all the way because obviously it's a raised edge. So I went through and colored that in with some permanent marker and accidentally colored in too much, so it kind of showed a little bit, but that's okay. You can always put a little bit of white out there or make sure to write on that part of the card when you give it away. So let me go ahead and show you how I made this card. Put that aside. The very first step is to get your card out. I decided to go with a white card, 5.5 by 4 inches. And again, I've already done the inside design. Let me show you how I created that. I took this embossing folder here from Sizzix, and it's basically, I would consider this to be like a broken glass or maybe even a spider web design if you wanted to get super creative. I used this on my Groot card that I did a collaboration with Crafting for Almost Everyone, Sandy Parker's channel. So if you wanted to see something else that you could do with this embossing folder, I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one here. So that's the design I did, and I used a large circle die cut to, I think I used a punch actually from Fiskars. Let me see if I could find that real quick. This is the punch that I used. It's a 2.8 inch Fiskars hole punch. And then I did the sentiment from, let me see if I could find that as well, from TPC Studio, Jeepers Creepers. And you may be thinking, holy moly, you've been using these stamp sets and this Cricut cartridge for like every card in your Card-tober series so far. When are you gonna get creative? Well, it just so happens that these are all of the Halloween stamp sets and cartridges that I own. So that's pretty much where I'm gonna get most of my stuff. I promise later on there will be some new and exciting stamp sets and die collections. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. The die cut that I used here is part of the Cricut cartridge Happy Hauntings. It is basically the whole cat frame slash cat die cut design that they have. It's like part of the collection within the collection. Let me actually go ahead and show you that little catalog. Oops, just dropping everything. Alrighty. So this is the booklet that comes with your Cricut cartridge, and you get all of these different options, so you can do pretty much anything your heart desires. Let me see if I can find the cat frame real quick for you. Here we go. So this is the whole cat collection. So I have used this frame here, and I did it in 2 different sizes by mistake, to be perfectly honest with you, and that's how I ended up with this smaller frame. I ended up using it, so even your mistakes can turn out positively. And then I've used this cat die cut here. So there you go. The first step to do after you have your card and you've already done your insides is to cut out your red piece of cardstock, which is the exact size of the card once again, and we're going to use our Tombow liquid glue to put that on the inside, or to glue that onto the card rather. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, and just quickly flip that over, place it onto your card. Okay. The next thing I did was cut a purple piece of cardstock, just slightly smaller than the red one, and let's just go ahead and glue that down right now as well with our Tombow liquid glue. Okay, and just put that, and see, it fits just inside that red layer. The next thing I did was took another piece of red cardstock, again just slightly smaller than the purple, and I embossed it with this stamp set from Spellbinder's Shape Abilities, and I've used this little like door lock stamp, and I've used my Holtz Distress Embossing ink, and I've used my embossing powder in clear from Ranger. Both of these are actually from Ranger, just Tim Holtz is the maker of that particular embossing ink. And then I've stamped that all the way across my card, and I used my heating tool, which is this guy here. And this is what it comes out to look like. Now I've done a little extra. You can see the shininess, that is the clear embossing powder. And then I've also taken some distress ink and used a Q-tip and kind of just went around there and just kind of dirtied up the page a little bit. And I just used, I'll go ahead and leave the name of that ink in the description box because I can't remember the name of it now. But I thought that added just a little bit of, you know, distress and the darkness and the, you know, dirtiness of the character and just how spooky a Halloween card should be. And what we're going to do is just glue that piece down as well. Okay. You can kind of see how I do like the same like glue design almost every time. Alrighty. Okay. So we want the purple to show a little bit more just because you want more color to be more vibrant. The next thing I did was took my die cut, and I think I did this in size 6, so if you're interested in doing that yourself, I believe I did it in a size 6. And then I put my square 3D square foam adhesives or pop dots on the back, and we're just going to, and we're putting this frame down first because we want to be able to, you know, get it in the right spot on the card. So you want to make sure it's in the center. Did I already get that one? Oh, I already got it. Okay. Okay. And we've got all of those. So we'll just go ahead and try your best to get that in the center of the card. And let's use that technique I showed you guys yesterday, using the clear block to press down evenly. And that way it just makes sure that you're pressing on all of the spots all at the same time. And I realized I again forgot a step. So before this dries too much, let's go ahead and punch through our brads. that represent her daughters. All right, I am using this Tim Holtz Tonic Studios pokey tool, and again, I'm not sure if this is really what it's meant for. I think it's kind of like a multi-purpose tool, so we're just gonna go with it. There we go. And again, I'm gonna have some issues doing this on camera, aren't I? All right, there we go. Yay, that's what it's supposed to look like. Hopefully it's not too blurry for you. When the brads get a little bit bigger, they're easier to pull the little legs apart, or whatever you want to call them. Okay. And then all you have to do to make sure that that stays is to just add a little bit more glue to the back here. And then you'll want to hold that down with a lot of pressure and for longer than a few seconds, just to make sure it's going to stay. Okay, and then let's flip that all the way around, and let's put in our little frame here. And this is the Stacy glue. The only reason I use this for this particular frame is because it has the, you know, really thin applicator. So I can get into all those spots that are really small, and I don't want to add too much glue to something like this because you don't want it to come out the sides and ooze everywhere. If you guys are interested in seeing my other Card-tober cards, which is part of the Week of Villains theme for the first week in October, I'll be leaving a link to the playlist at the end of this video. So there'll be a couple cards for you to check out on that playlist. And by a couple, I mean a few. It's almost a full week's worth of videos. All right, so you can see how that just fits right inside the large frame. And I believe this was actually, I think like a 3-inch size, so about half the size of the large one. And then doing the cat, and I did this in a darker gray to represent the darker gray in her and Lady Tremaine's hair. And I just put 3 little pop dots on the back, and we're just going to place that right there in the center, and that's pretty much the end of the card there. This is the self-adhesive bling that I used. It's kind of like the emerald green, and that is to represent all of the emerald green pieces of jewelry that she wears, because again, she has all kinds of round jewelry on her, just like most of these villains in the Disney movies. For some reason, everything is round, or they have a staff with the sphere at the end of it. But anyway, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, let me also show you, I did the black embossing powder, and I don't know what company this is from, but you can pretty much get that from any craft store, like Michael's, for example. And that's how I did the embossing powder on the inside. I've also used, this is just the inside of the small frame here, so the 3-inch frame. I think that covers everything. I hope you guys have a great day. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for the rest of this month's videos every day in the month of October. So happy Halloween, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye!